If you're feeling overwhelmed by all the experts telling you to be everywhere online, I get it. After years of trying to maintain a presence on every platform, I've learned something crucial. Trying to be everywhere was preventing me from being effective anywhere. Welcome back to the Expert Growth Diaries. I'm Kendra Losee, and this is my behind the scenes journey of applying my own advice and visibility strategies to my brand and business. For years, I've tested every platform, trend, social media idea, partly because I wanted to help my clients, partly because I was teaching social media marketing and needed to be able to answer questions that came up in class. But if I'm honest, also because I felt the pressure to keep up, to know everything, to be everywhere. I'd show up, then disappear. Launch something, then ghost my audience as I got busy with my clients or the business I was working at. I'd master one platform just in time for 3 new ones to emerge. I was gathering data, researching, constantly learning about them. The businesses I was working with, the clients and students I helped, got the advice to start with one platform and stick with it until they had routine systems and everything dialed in. They brought my advice to life and excelled with it. They took it and ran with it, and I'm so proud of all of them. Well, I was still posting and ghosting and researching and learning everything in the background, which is why today I'm sharing why I'm intentionally scaling back to grow stronger and how focusing on fewer, more strategic channels is actually building more authentic authority for me than trying to be everywhere ever did. In this video, I'll share what I discovered when I stopped being everywhere online, the 3 specific channels that I'm focusing on now and why, how I'm implementing this focused approach day to day, and the surprising results. The challenge that I ran into is once I pivoted my business out of an industry where people knew me, I've been building from scratch. And trying to compete in a very crowded space, it requires this focus and intentional authority building. I've had to completely rethink how I show up online. First, I'm prioritizing clarity over volume. Instead of trying to showcase everything I know about marketing, I'm focusing on what matters most to you, my audience, and helping experienced experts become more visible and become known without losing themselves in the process. This wasn't easy. I spent years building business and expertise in higher education marketing, B2B, social media, email marketing, lead generation, storytelling, regulated industry marketing. But trying to talk about all of those things meant that no one was paying attention because I wasn't clear. So this is where it becomes, what problem are you solving and who are you talking to? That clarity is key. Second, I'm focusing on channel alignment. Instead of trying to be everywhere, I'm concentrating on platforms and places that make sense for my audience and my communication style. I love teaching, I love coaching, I love explaining these concepts. YouTube and building that connection and using it to provide value. LinkedIn for that professional visibility, because this is where a lot of my ideal clients already are. I'm going to them. And then email to build that increased connection and relationships that create real opportunities. I'm creating content primarily for these channels and then strategically repurposing across other platforms without the pressure to create unique content everywhere. Third, I'm tracking what actually matters. So instead of tracking things like how many followers do I have or how many likes did that get, I'm measuring real business indicators. These are the genuine quality conversations, the inquiries, the open rates to my email and the clicks through and the conversations that I'm having, the messages I'm getting. These tell me far more about the effectiveness of my message and the stories I'm telling and what I'm doing. Here's what that looks like in practice. First, I'm carving out focused time to create content that matters rather than scrambling to post everywhere. These videos, for example, I set aside specific time to record them and share them strategically. Second, I'm building on existing relationships rather than constantly chasing new connections. I'm starting with the people I already know and having real conversations to renew those relationships and help them continue to develop and grow. Third, I'm simplifying my approach to content. No more overcomplicating every piece of content, trying to make it perfect for every platform. And most importantly, I've stopped feeling guilty about not being everywhere, even as an expert. That mental shift alone has been a game changer for my energy and focus. Because let me be honest, when I stopped trying to maintain active profiles everywhere and concentrated on creating valuable content in fewer places, everything has changed. My message has become clearer, my consistency improved, and ironically, more of the right people started to find me. They understand where I'm coming from and why it's so important that these experts have a safe place to show up and a way to do that. Here's what I've gained by letting go of, I need to do it all right now. It's been so incredibly freeing. And I've realized that, you know what? I'm not behind. I'm being intentional. So if you're an expert over 40 feeling the pressure to master every platform, remember this. You've spent decades building your expertise. You don't need to validate yourself on every new app that launches. You need to go where it matters for you, your audience, and where you can add value for your goals. Here's my reality check. What's working for me now is focusing on 3 simple questions. Where are my ideal clients already looking for solutions? Where are they spending their time? Which platforms allow me to communicate most effectively? What realistically can I maintain without burning out? Now, my answers to those questions might look completely different from what you're doing, what others are doing, what experts might tell you. And that's exactly right, because your visibility strategy and your approach to how you show up should be as unique as your expertise, as you are. And here's the biggest lesson that I've learned. I am not a magical exception. I've been treating myself like a special little unicorn because I'm the expert and I don't need to do these things. Enough. Having a consistent presence in the right places builds more authority than a scattered presence everywhere. It's not about being the loudest or showing up the most. It's about being reliably valuable to the people that I'm meant to help. This focused approach isn't just easier, it's creating the kind of recognition and trust that grows my business. When I've stopped trying to be everywhere and do all the different marketing things for people, I can finally be effective somewhere. If you're ready to figure out what might be holding you back from sharing your expertise, go take my free visibility resistance quiz. The link's in the description. Subscribe to the Expert Growth Diaries and drop a me too in the comments if you've ever felt the pressure to be everywhere online, because you don't need to be. Start one place, start small. That's what I'm doing. This is the Expert Growth Diaries, and I am finally taking my own damn advice, because your advice deserves to be seen even if you're not everywhere. Till next time.